Hello. Thought I'd do a live video, break up the monotony before I start doing stuff today. There's some schoolwork to do. It's gonna take a bunch of time to do. Cut my hair. My hair looks choppy. It's just kind of my hair anyways. It's short though. I like it. Feels good. Feels better. Was kind of a little annoying. Or it was, it just, for some reason, was not feeling what it looked like, and, well, I mean, at all. It was, like, really blunt and straight across and stuff, and it looked terrible, but, it really started getting to me in the last couple days, so I was like, okay, I can't wait. I gotta do something, so I'm fine with what it looks like right now, as long as I don't, like, continue to, like, chop any more off. So I don't want to go any shorter than shoulder length, which is what this is. So yeah, I'm doing okay. Man, it's such a big difference in the stimulation from like being alone to like being around other people. Luckily I feel super comfortable like with where I've been and what I've been doing and stuff. It is just absolutely so amazing how much like the change. I'm trying to be nice about it, but like in what I was dealing with before in my life, before the accident, before the health problems, and my family and all that trauma, and being on the other side of it and living in it for so long, like it really did not feel good from like day to day, like and it's like really not there anymore and stuff, but like I remember it when I'm here, because like it's just me here. I don't have you know, because like I said, it's just me. I'm single, so kind of thing, like with my house and my properties and stuff like that. If that makes any sense. In dealing with all that trauma, like I don't have anybody to just, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I haven't always been alone with it, so like I've had support at sometimes, but like I don't like have any and so I like know you know, of course I have people in my life that care about me, and they're like, you know, obviously like, you know, no, that's not right, like that's not good and whatnot, you know, but like yeah. So hope that makes sense. But you know, there's definitely a difference between like, you know, being single and not being single. So and sharing space with somebody that's like completely, you know, in your space, and not sharing space was, you know, and not having space shared with other people. So whew, I was so exhausted, but like yesterday, like after I got a bunch of sleep and woke up yesterday, like all day yesterday, even with the still looking at pieces in my hair. Anyways, even with so it's not okay, so the caffeine Like, that's what I figured out, like, the caffeine and stuff in coffee, like, makes me feel like crap. It locks me up, um, within, like, 30 minutes, like an hour, is reminiscent of a seizure, but it's like, of course not. It's, but that's like a lockdown kind of feeling where I'm just like really super emotionless, like stimulants and stuff, they can kind of do stuff like that. I'm sensitive to stimulants, so like, yeah, so the caffeine does that. However, funny enough, on the other side of my health problems and the neurological situation where, like, having seizures is, at the top and whatnot. So now that, like, that's closed and not a pathway anymore, currently, like, the epileptic part, or the eclipsing part where it just kind of stays open, kind of like a wound for him, like going up and down. I can drink energy drinks. I have other effects and stuff, but there's no like neurolog like me by myself in my own space and stuff. The only kind of feelings or like weirdness that I get from them is normal, like crashing, like emotional type. Like I get a little agitated at times. Not anything kind of severe, but like, I'm trying to like really notice like any kind of difference and stuff. And that's the only kind of like sign or anything like that. And I did not have the narcoleptic crash last night where I just like didn't have any narcolepsy last night, so at all. Like I did not. Still a little tired, that kind of thing. Like I definitely, it's there, but like I didn't have any dropping. So, or passing out. Pretty amazing. That is definitely like a stress thing. Like that's definitely a stimulation, like a social crash. Well, what it is like throughout the day when I would take time to like, space out, like, if I'm doing something, say if I'm reading for hours at a time and, I don't take time, normally it's like I get to a certain point every couple hours or something and set, like, take time for myself. It just a break, So if I'm sitting with somebody or all day long and I'm like really heavily focused and like trying to do stuff and there's a lot of tug and pull on my attention, then by the end, and there's no breaks. So like by the end of the day, I would like crash because the stimulation is just constant throughout the day. Like I'm pushing myself through it. And so that happened Thanksgiving and the day before. But it did not happen yesterday. Because I was able to, with sleep, completely decompress and shut down completely. I'm not like hyper vigilant of my environment or, the people around me or anything like that. So, like, almost like to the other side because actually I feel better when I'm like that. Like, it's weird. I mean, it sucks, like, but that's also still because of like emotional trauma and stuff. I don't like, I want to do what I want to do. Like, I don't want to like, pass out at 7 o'clock for 2 hours and, it doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't affect me. Like, I can still like, go back to sleep, in a couple hours after that, and get a full night's sleep and stuff. But what it is so I like pass out at like 7, sleep for like 2 hours, wake up, go back to sleep about between midnight and 1, sleep for 5 hours, wake up at like 5 or 6, get exhausted by like 10 o'clock, push through it, and then pass out at 7. Like, but the thing is like, that's not a everyday thing, because still, like, I come home and sleep for 12 hours straight. So, it really doesn't sound that weird, like on paper and stuff, but the symptom, like how deeply I just like shut down, is a little kind of, it's interesting. I've always been like that, but like, now that I'm more like, driving as much, but I'm still having that kind of stimulation that I had when I was younger and whatnot. Also, I hate to say this, but like, it's been, I was doing like, not any narcotic medication, but like, I was utilizing different forms of like over-the-counter pain medications and stuff for a long time, and that doesn't, before I started having seizures, like, so my it actually managed it really well. At times I smoked marijuana and stuff, and like, it didn't like, I didn't have any problems with the narcolepsy through that. Like, so it is like, a neurological like pain situation. It is like reminiscent of, not being able to like a neuroplasticity thing. Like, I don't, it's kind of interesting. And so like, cause it's not like I am immune to ADHD, so I don't know. It's like a weird rolly through thing. I don't really know what other people are doing who have an narcolepsy. I think theirs is just like an overstimulation of the nervous system. I don't think it's a social thing so much like mine is, but I don't know. It's really crazy because like, I have the atonic seizures and stuff, and I'm prone to them, which is not cataplexy. Technically, me dropping asleep is the cataplexy. But, so I have 2 different forms. It's like, that's what people consider cataplexy. But, like, so I'm like really kind of, my mind's blown a little bit about it, because I have not read or heard of anybody, I've not been able to find any data, where people have 2 different forms of cataplexy, like, the atonic seizure, which looks just like, but isn't triggered, and then the like dropping the sleep. So I'm kind of like, I'm guessing that is the ASD thing. But that only happens when I'm in epilepsy land, when I have an opening, I guess you can say, when, like, cause, yeah. So, but like, I think, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts and stuff, and I'm kind of like, well, maybe like the narcolepsy and the Tourette's is just signs of the proneness to the, epilepsy. Like, if I ever have like a surgery or something, and the medications that they give me, during the surgery and after for recovery, like, I would be prone to epilepsy during that time. So I'd have to be careful. And during that time, I wouldn't have the narcolepsy drop episodes. I would have the atonic seizures. Because like the dropping is literally a part of not having, or like passing out is literally like not having seizures. So like I wouldn't be able to do that, and I didn't the entire time I was having seizures. So that is amazing and weird. Like I say, tired and stuff like that, you know, because I mean it is tiring, but it completely masks any kind of like a narcoleptic um, symptoms and stuff, because like of the hypervigilance that occurs during repeated seizures and stuff. And the mental illness like it's that you have during that, you know, because it's like extremely traumatic from day to day. And you know, when you have like a seizure, it's like a week later and you're still, you know, shaking in your boots kind of thing. You know, so you are resting during it, you know, there's no stimulation, you know, socially or anything like you take, you know, like I didn't, you know, but still, like, I mean, well, there isn't, like, even if I was forcing myself to do stuff, I still would be, like, using my consciousness and my attention, like, in a different way. So, like, all of that is really interesting. The ticking and stuff is all this is the same through all of it. In fact, it's worse now because of right now in my life. It's been like this since I had my first pregnancy. When I had my first pregnancy, like, yeah, it definitely blew that kind of stuff out of the water. I definitely started dealing with stuff that I hadn't ever dealt with. And, you know, reading in the past 2 weeks, like, that's totally a thing. I didn't even know that, you know, not that I would. Like, I actually don't right off the top of my head know anybody who has Tourette's. I know one person, but she, that I dated a guy and he cheated on me with somebody who had Tourette's, and then he cheated on me with another person who had narcolepsy, which is really crazy because that was all before I was aware of any of this and, you know, had talked to doctors and stuff. So, which, you know, like I've said, is something that happens to people who actually, you know, deal with it and stuff. So that don't have ADHD. But you know, because like I said, it is totally a thing that, like, you know, I had like a lot of self-injury type behaviors and stuff, and like I, more than anybody I know, am the opposite on the scale of like having a reason to live, you know, and something to prove, I guess you could say. I had like a really high, like, not social justice thing, but like, I had a very, 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 very strong sense of love, you know, and peace, and I don't even know how to explain it right now, but just okayness, you know, more so than anybody I've ever known, like, because of my sister and stuff, even more so because of my own things. It just kind of naturally flowed together. Like I said, probably about a month ago in a video, maybe a little more, I mentioned about how, like, I really did for a long time, you know, and this was something I never spoke about, but like I really did have to like wrap my head around. Like, I even had like this asshole one time tell me that he was teaching me about terrible people, and I've had people say that and stuff to me, and it's funny because like they said like that isn't something like that ever affected me in action. Like, I never did stupid stuff. Like, I never hung around people thinking they were good people, and like, what I'm like, I never hung around somebody and that I was shocked by what they did. In fact, it was the opposite. Like, I was very, very, very aware of how crappy some people can be. And, but it is like, today I use the word crappy. That word wasn't part of my vocabulary growing up. I looked at it as natural, because I followed in, like I understood why, and I still do. It's just, like it's hard to talk about something at the same time as following a path. So it is something that I have kind of flipped within myself in order to talk about it. But like I was never, and you don't lose that kind of knowledge or anything like that. I definitely recognized all the patterns. I definitely, and some people might even say that because I knew it, that made me a terrible person. But it's like, no, it's just literally like, you know, like watching a dog, bring you a bird, or a cat bring you a bird or something. Like, I was super, super aware of how people are with stuff like that, so, and I mean, I still am, but like, it wasn't like geared towards me. And there's something about me now. I think it's because I talk about stuff that people, are kind of like, and the thing is the reason why I talk about it is because I don't have that kind of, like, so I don't have some of the situations that I was dealing with around me all the time. So I go to talk about it and people are all pretty much telling me, oh, I'm that way too. And it's like, you're telling me that you're also a human. Like, and that's silly. But the thing is that a lot of people don't recognize that about, like, humanity, and how those things can get out of hand and what that looks like, in like in certain situations and stuff. And so it shocks some people, kind of like, but not really at the same time. Like I said, people, can reason it out in one situation, one conversation, and then they'll turn around and be like, oh my God, in another situation. So it's one of those things where I've even had people, tell me like something they had been through, and then like I'll go to be like, tell them of a story, of something I've dealt with, and they're turn around and be like, she was talking, this is, been a long time ago, but, Chelsea said blah, 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 and so, like, she doesn't know that blah, blah, and I'm like, this is really funny, because, like, I had to dig around to get that story out in order to talk to you about it. You are the one who came to me talking about something that bothered you. First and foremost, I don't think either one of us don't know that people are like that, that situations like that happen. That doesn't necessarily say, that you shouldn't have a problem with it. It is something that can be like kind of crazy, to see or to deal with or to feel. So, you definitely have a right. And also, I'm telling you that, like, I'm confirming what you're saying is a reality, by telling you a situation in which I've observed that similar, thing. So, then their actions and stuff about, I'm like, you're double wrong. Like, like, you came to me originally because I thought you were right, about making an conversation, because sometimes I'm like, damn, like I also too, am like, huh, damn, because you recognize when people aren't like that. So, immediately you would be like, oh, when people, you compare it to the opposite. So it's like somebody comes to me and then they're like, I'm like, plus one, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like a double negative at the end of the day. And then, so I get confused about, then another person is like, well, I'm sorry, you know, that people know that about, you know, that that's the situation for you. And I'm like, you're sorry either that, well, hello there. How about that? I really am going to take this moment in time because you popped up on my screen. I'm just going to let you know that. But I really super hope that you were doing okay because I haven't talked to you in a long time. But, it is good to see. I recognize that little picture that is popped up because we were hanging out when you painted that. It doesn't show your name, but I do hope you're doing well. I'm assuming if you're watching this that you're doing okay and stuff. And if you want to take a browse on my page and find out what the doctors have been telling me, you should, because it's really interesting. Also, you are somebody that it would be kind of interesting to talk to about it and to let you know, because how crazy at the end of the day, because you are somebody that actually knows firsthand what I'm talking about. And okay, I just started talking a whole bunch, but it is really amazing that you just popped up and now I kind of want a cigarette because like I totally wasn't expecting that. But like you can't talk because like this is a one-way thing, so just like I guess it is well, you can never tell when people just pop up. It says I have 2 people watching me. Like I said, I'm doing good. I was talking about my narcolepsy symptoms and how totally that's a thing. I hope this is a positive interaction. I hope you're not like, you know, watching my video to be mean to me. So I'm gonna spit that out. But like I said, I really do hope you're doing well, and not just today, but in general, Mr. Pete. So I'm gonna probably end this because it's a little funny. I was getting to be about that time, and check out and see if I can message you. I think I might message you and say, hey, I'm not sure why you're looking at my video and haven't messaged me instead. So maybe you don't know that it pops up and tells me who's watching it. So anyways, yeah, I do daily, about every single day I do videos to touch base with stuff and talk. It stimulates my nervous system and whatnot, and it's a positive thing for me. So today's my daily video. Let me see if it tells don't tell me how long I've been doing it, but I think it's been long enough. Like I usually try to do it for over 10 minutes. I think it's been over 10 minutes. So hope everybody has a good Sunday and enjoys their week this week. Bye bye.